Hey there, this is Darren LaCroix. Don't worry, just get to 100 as quick as you can. Hey, some advice that I heard. So if you're a Toastmaster, if you're trying to tell your message, one of the things, advice that helped me early on is I hear people, I'm working on speech 2 and I'm so stressed and I can't sleep, and I'm working on speech 3 and I can't sleep, and best advice I ever heard, other than doing a Facebook video with a motorcycle in the background, is Dale Carnegie said, just get to 100 as fast as you can. Get to 100 speeches. You're going to learn so much along the way. So one of the things that I'm here with John Polish. John and I both hold events, and one of the things that I said to John early on, well, John, I'll let you tell the story. Go ahead.
So I did my very first Unstuck Happiness Conference, and Darren came up to me afterwards and asked me how the event went. I'm like, well, it was a great event, but I lost money. And he asked me how much I lost. I told him I lost like $500, and he started laughing at me, telling me that was a win. And he asked me when I was doing my next event. And I explained to him that I didn't have any money, and I lost money at the event, so now I had less than money. So there was no way I was doing another event. And he's like, well, when's your next one? I want to speak at it. And I'm like, well, I can't have another one. After he asked me about 4 times in a row, I finally looked down and said, okay, July 30th. And I'm like, great, now I planned another event. I have to figure out how I'm going to be able to pull it off. And somehow we did. And I remember him telling me at the time, he's like, don't worry about making money at your first event. He's like, you will not make money until your 10th event. And so that has kept me motivated as I have just held my 6th event. So 4 more before I make money. And if I don't make money at the 10th event, I know where Darren lives.
Yeah, I'm moving 10. At that point.
So we just keep pushing forward, doing events, knowing that what's happening is amazing stuff happening at the events, and we're sharing stories, we're getting experience, and I know that by the time we hit the 10th one, we'll be up and running.
But you learn a lot along the way.
Every single time we learn, adapt, grow, and they just keep getting better and better and that much closer to making money.
Nice. Hey, Spencer, thanks for joining in and watching us. So, hey, check out John Polish and his events, Unstuck. I love the motivational idea of just helping people get unstuck. So that's John's focus, and I will be happy to speak at your event anytime, because he's out there doing it, sincerely helping people, but focus on getting them number 10. Don't worry about number 1 or 2 if you have your own events. Just plan on it. You can't, don't risk your life savings on it. You've got to be able to just make some mistakes and realize it may not be profitable right up front. If you're a speaker, realize you're going to learn a lot along the way. So don't stress over number 1 or 2, especially at Toastmasters. That's the place to make mistakes. At Toastmasters, back me up on this, they'll clap on your way. If you puke on your way to the stage, they'll be like, nice job, that was some volume there. Right. So John, thanks for joining me on this Facebook Live, and John's a part of my men's group, and we learn from each other and move on. Also part of my NSA chapter. You're president next year, right?
I am.
Wow. I better be nice to you.
Don't be one of those people that regrets not trying and giving up just a little too soon. Too many people quit way too soon, one step before success. So
yeah,
keep moving.
And Spencer's asking us a question here too. He says, does this apply to gigs, I wonder? It applies to events and gigs for sure. So yeah. How about for you, since you've been speaking? Have you learned a lot along the way? Do you beat yourself up too soon?
Some of my gigs are just in front of my dog, but it helps. It's every time you speak, it helps. You just get a little bit better. So any opportunity you get to get out there and practice and just keep doing it.
Yeah, and if you watched Charlie Plumb earlier this week when I interviewed him, he said, speak, speak, speak. He said he did 400 speeches before he ever got paid for one. So remember, you don't get paid for the speech, you get paid to transfer value and to help people. So do it for free as often as you can, and if you can, get some testimonials along the way that will help music gigs. Well, I'm assuming music gigs would be very much the same principle.
Yeah.
because as you do them, but you've got to go into each gig with the idea of what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? Write down the lessons you learned, and then next time do that, or don't do that, or do that better. So absolutely, I believe it would apply for sure.
And I get that mentality that people aren't going to pay you until they've heard you. So you just keep doing it over and over again, and eventually word will catch on. And I think that's the same for music. Just keep playing, and people will eventually hear you and want to pay you to come and play for them.
Yeah, and Alan Weiss, one of my business mentors, says, look, if you don't toot your own horn, there's going to be no music. So you got to be willing to get yourself out there.
It's a whole different summer.
And let people know. Yeah, so get to 100 as quick as you can. Get to 10 as quick as you can. Don't beat yourself up on the early stages. Just know that any new skill or any skill you want to master, there's some lessons you got to learn along the way. I remember there's an interview with Oprah Winfrey interviewed Steven Tyler, and when he was a judge on American Idol, he said, when I tell people, no, you're not the American Idol, he says, I'm saying you're not the American Idol today. I'm not saying you'll never be the American Idol. He says all it means is you need to go back into the clubs, learn a few more lessons, and then come back. So don't let anybody stop you. Get unstuck. Check out John, see what he's doing. Maybe he'll have you speak at an event, or maybe you can sit and listen to the great stories from Unstuck. So Darren LaCroix, John Polish. John's doing the challenge too. All right. See you tomorrow.
Thanks.